Right now, every architect is experimenting with AI, but most are using the wrong tool. I spent 3 weeks testing Claude, ChatGPT, and Gemini on real architectural tasks. The results weren't even close. One AI consistently produced better concepts, understood technical requirements, and saved actual time. You think ChatGPT leads, but for architects, one silent AI dominates unseen. Let's cut through the noise. Where other models generate generic text, Claude grasps the nuance of your architectural brief. Its exceptional spatial reasoning allows it to interpret programmatic needs and translate constraints into creative possibilities, making it indispensable for true concept iteration. Now, let's examine ChatGPT. For a foundational brainstorm, it can be functional. But when you need to push beyond a generic idea and explore a concept with real architectural intent, it falls flat. The model simply doesn't have the specific vocabulary or contextual depth to build upon the sophisticated spatial relationships you require. You might think Claude would offer the creative edge you need. The reality is quite different. For architectural concept work, it often delivers overly verbose descriptions disconnected from spatial logic. The key insight is that while it sounds plausible, it fails to grasp the fundamental tension between structural innovation and practical buildability that defines our work. But today's verdict is different. Claude excels here, precisely because it demonstrates a deep understanding of the client brief. Its responses go beyond generic shapes to propose truly coherent spatial narratives, linking client needs to core architectural principles in a way the others simply do not match for foundational concept work. Architects are using the wrong AI. Here's the shocking winner. Now, you might think Claude's building code accuracy is its strength. It's not. Technical documentation demands structured, repeatable processes. Claude's inconsistency on formatting and reference linking is its fatal flaw. The output is correct, but unusably chaotic for serious documentation. This reliability gap is why it fails. ChatGPT will invent code compliance standards from thin air. It hallucinates load calculations and fabricates material specs. That's not a helpful draft, it is professional liability in written form. You cannot risk a tool that confidently writes fictional regulations. For technical documentation, absolute precision isn't just preferred, it is the entire foundation of safe practice. Next, Gemini. It might provide correct sustainability calculations, but then deliver dangerously vague or outright wrong interpretations of your local building codes. One sentence is compliant, the next isn't. This inconsistency means you must verify every single line, stripping away any efficiency gain. You cannot build reliable documentation on a foundation that randomly shifts. So, imagine a building inspector who randomly approves critical violations. That's what happens with other tools. They process your code sections, but then miss or misinterpret key clauses. The pattern is clear, only Claude identifies these foundational flaws. This isn't about minor edits, it is about preventing catastrophic legal and structural failure from the very first draft. The key insight is that compliance isn't about keywords, it is about legal meaning. Claude's reasoning spotted a clause requiring daylight in the living area, a health mandate that ChatGPT passed right over. This is the difference between processing text and building to code. It's the tool that catches what could become a major regulatory liability before it's on paper. Architects are betting on the wrong AI for their most critical work. That's the true magic. You're not just sharing specs, you're building trust and excitement. Claude reimagines complex engineering and material data into a clear, persuasive story any client can embrace, turning dry details into the compelling vision that secures buy-in and turns projects into reality. But with ChatGPT, that critical story breaks down. You get generic explanations that fail to translate architectural intent into client language. It does not connect the technical choice to the human experience, leaving clients confused about why the detail matters. The result is a lost opportunity to build the confidence that moves a project forward. Where Gemini fails is more fundamental. It presents raw technical logic, not a compelling why. Your clients need to feel the decision, not decode a spec sheet. You need a partner that transforms technical constraints into narratives of comfort, efficiency, and value. That's the bridge from confusion to complete buying. You don't have a client problem. You have a translation problem. Dry technical jargon creates immediate friction. Claude masters the crucial refrain, articulating the same structural or material choice through the distinct language of a budget-conscious CFO, a sustainability-focused planner, or a design-sensitive stakeholder. That's how technical decisions become shared victories. So you are facing 3 meetings for one feature. The CFO hears a 5-year ROI. The planner hears reduced embodied carbon. The stakeholder hears cohesive design language. That's the master move, 1 technical truth, 3 strategic narratives. You are not just sharing data, you are building consensus by speaking their exact dialect. That's the translation that wins the project. Forget ChatGPT. Architects need this overlooked AI powerhouse instead. Do not ask Claude to draw you a floor plan. Instead, tell it your program requirements. You will get back intelligent reasoning for grouping spaces logically, a true schematic partner that understands adjacencies, zoning, and efficient circulation, moving you from a list of needs to a viable organizational concept faster. ChatGPT stumbles here. It does not grasp the deep logic of building codes or material constraints, often proposing layouts that would never pass a structural or zoning review. You are left with a concept that's creatively bold but technically impossible, forcing you to backtrack instead of building forward with confidence. And Gemini's focus on aesthetics creates a deceptive elegance. You get stunning visuals, but they ignore critical functional relationships like how a service corridor disrupts a core circulation path. The result is a beautiful diagram you must immediately dismantle, as its form fundamentally conflicts with the building's operational needs. Claude interprets the actual logic of space, not just its visual arrangement. It granulates the fundamental need for workflow and connection. So your schematics emerge from the program's real-world operational sequence. You are not just drawing lines between boxes, you are engineering the unseen efficiency that makes a building truly work. So the core challenge in your program is functional adjacency, right? Which tool actually solves for that? The key insight is that Claude deciphers the underlying logic. It does not just calculate square footage, it reveals the hidden operational sequence, so your entire layout is built on the workflow the building actually needs. Forget ChatGPT. This is the AI architects must actually use. This wasn't a simple vocabulary test. When we tasked the models with complex queries about load-bearing systems and spatial programming, only Claude demonstrated true contextual comprehension. It did not just recognize our terminology, it applied the principles correctly. That architectural fluency creates a tangible advantage in generating coherent, usable concepts from the very first prompt. Now, this is the crucial difference. While other tools might remember your last sentence, Claude held the entire project's framework, the spatial goals, the site limitations in mind. That means every response builds on that foundation, turning isolated ideas into a single, evolving concept. It does not just answer questions, it develops the project with you. This is where design intelligence emerges. The ability to reference architectural precedents means it connects your concept to established principles like how Tadao Ando manipulates light or how biomorphic forms address sustainability. This isn't just recall, it is applying a canon of knowledge to your specific constraints, evolving a sketch into a coherent thesis. Imagine working with a senior designer who does not just mark up your plans, but actively evolves the entire narrative of your space with each round. This is the crucial difference. A truly powerful tool does not just process your notes, it builds upon them, pushing the design dialogue forward with architectural intent. This is where generic tools fail. They add comments, they do not comprehend sequence. The correct tool understands the progression from concept to detail, ensuring every revision respects structural logic and client vision. It does not just log changes, it advances the entire design story, keeping the core narrative intact and moving relentlessly forward. Forget what you have heard, the best AI is failing architects. Picture your firm's senior partner, that's Claude. It excels where precision matters, fleshing out initial concepts, ensuring technical integrity, and crafting persuasive presentations. While other tools offer raw ideas, Claude synthesizes them with architectural judgment. You are not just getting suggestions, you are receiving curated, client-ready insight that anticipates questions before they are even asked. Think your chaotic, early-stage ideas into clarity. That's ChatGPT's core strength. It's your rapid, associative thought partner for breaking creative blocks and generating raw marketing angels. You provide the chaotic spark, it returns structured, expansive possibilities. This raw material is perfect for the initial, messy phase before Claude steps in to refine it with precision. But you need hard facts to support those ideas. The raw concept is one thing, its real-world impact is another. That's where Gemini excels. Use it to instantly calculate environmental performance, source technical standards, and validate your material choices. It's the fact-checker, grounding your project's ambition in actionable, data-driven reality. So, here's your ultimate workflow. First, generate radical concepts with Midjourney for inspiration. Then, evolve those into structured, buildable ideas using ChatGPT. Finally, deploy Gemini to validate every technical detail and performance metric. This pipeline moves you from pure creativity, through intelligent design, to certified feasibility, transforming a spark into a fully substantiated project ready for client sign-off. But listen, and listen carefully. There is one absolute line. Do not delegate your final professional judgment. No AI can bear the ethical and legal responsibility for a design decision. That signature on the drawing, that accountability for human safety, that must always be yours. The machine provides the data, but the architect must own the duty. Claude wins for architectural workflows due to superior technical understanding and contextual awareness. Different AIs excel at different architectural tasks. Smart architects use them strategically. The biggest mistake is using one AI for everything without understanding its limitations. Try testing these AIs on your current project's most challenging aspect and see which one actually helps.